Hi lovely sewists, and welcome to the Willow Sew Along. I'm Emma from Cinnamon Daisy, and today we're going to sew the willow together step by step. Let's get started. Step 1. Staystitch the bodice. Staystitch the neckline and armholes of the front and back bodice pieces using a 1.5mm stitch length. Step 2. Sew the ties. Wrong sides together. Fold 1cm inwards on both long sides of the ties so they meet in the middle. Press, fold the tie in half and press again. Fold one of the shorter ends inwards 1cm to hide the raw edge and fold the long sides back in to trap the raw edges. Sew down the long edge, pivot the fabric and sew along the folded short end. Repeat on all 4 ties. Step 3. Sew front darts. Right side up, lay the front bodice flat and line up one tie above the notch with the stitching on the tie facing downwards. Bring the other side of the dart over so you're sandwiching the tie in between, making sure to match up the notches. With a 1cm seam allowance, sew the cutaway darts like regular darts, finishing with a tapered end at the marked bust point. Overlock the dart raw edges. Using a large eye sewing needle, thread the overlock ends back through the seam and trim any excess threads. Press the dart towards the centre front of the bodice. This will make sure the ties are facing the correct way. Repeat this step for both darts. Each dart will have one tie with the remaining 2 ties going into the side seams at a later step. Step 4. Sew the back bodice seam. Take the 2 back pieces, wrong sides together, and sew down the centre back. Press this seam open. Trim one of the seam allowances in half. Fold the other seam allowance over the trimmed seam allowance, encasing the raw edge. Pin in place, top stitch and press. Step 5. Sew shoulder seams. Place the back bodice on top of the front bodice, right sides together. Line up the outer shoulder edges, pin and sew along the shoulder seam. Overlock the shoulder seam allowances together. Press this seam towards the back bodice. Repeat this step for both shoulders. Step 6. Sew side seams. Right side up, lay the back bodice flat and line up the remaining tie above the side notch with the stitching on the tie facing downwards. Place the front bodice side seam on top so you're sandwiching the tie in between, matching up the notches. Sew side seams together and overlock edges. Press the seam towards the back bodice. Repeat this step for both side seams. Step 7. Attach the neckline binding. Start the binding about halfway down the back neckline. Pin the binding onto the right side of the back bodice so that the crease of the binding is 1 cm away from the neckline edge, and there is a 10 cm loose binding end. Pin all around the neckline, leaving a 5 cm gap between the start and end. Measure 10 cm from the last pin and cut the binding. Sew in the crease of the binding, leaving a 5 cm gap. Mark the middle of the 5 cm gap on the back bodice. Lay one side of the loose binding ends flat so it crosses the middle mark and draw a line on the binding in the same place. Repeat this on the other side of the loose binding end. Right sides together, line up the marks on the loose binding ends and pin together. Sew the binding together and trim the seam allowance to 0.5 cm. Press this binding seam open and sew the binding to the back bodice. Press the binding flat and understitch the binding to the bodice seam allowance. Tuck the seam allowance underneath the binding edge and fold over towards the inside of the bodice. Pin all around and top stitch carefully following the curve of the neckline. Remove the stay stitch if it's visible from the outside of the garment. Step 9. Sew the sleeve. Sew sleeve sides together and overlock edges. Press seam towards the back of the sleeve. Sew 2 rows of long length stitches within the seam allowance between the 2 notches on the sleeve head showed in the notch guide. Leave some long loose threads at either end of the stitching. Don't backtack these stitches as you need the threads loose to gather. Insert the sleeve into the bodice armhole, right sides together. Find the 2 back notches on the sleeve and match these up with the 2 back notches on the back bodice armhole. Start pinning the sleeve to the armhole, starting with the side seam of the bodice and the seam of the sleeve. Pin all the way around up to where you've started the long length stitches, taking care to match any notches on the way. Carefully pull the long length stitch thread ends to gather the sleeve head evenly so that it fits the armhole and pin in position. Adjust the machine stitch back to regular stitch and sew all around the armhole. Overlock all around and press the seam towards the bodice. If the long length stitches are visible from the outside, remove these using an unpicker. Repeat this step for both sleeves. Step 11. Hem the puff sleeve. Press the sleeve hem up 1 cm, then fold over by 4 cm and press. Top stitch around, leaving a 4 cm gap near the side seam. Stitch another row 1 cm apart from the first row, leaving no gap. Cut a length of elastic measuring the same circumference as your bicep. The fit should be snug but not tight. Using a safety pin, thread elastic through the sleeve hem, making sure the elastic isn't twisted, and overlap this by 2 cm. Sew the elastic together using a zigzag stitch. Top stitch the gap closed, stretching the elastic as you go. Repeat this step for both sleeves. Step 13. Sew skirt with pockets. Right sides together, pin the pocket bag onto the front and back skirt pieces. The top of the pocket should be in line with the notch on the skirt sides. Sew down the pocket side and overlock alongside this stitch line. The rest of the pocket is overlocked later in this step. Press the pocket bag outwards and understitch onto the pocket bag. Right sides together, lay front and back skirt pieces with pockets facing outwards. Line up the seams of the pockets and pin in place. Pin all around the pocket bag and down the sides of the skirt. Sew from the waist, pivot the fabric at the pocket and follow the curve of the pocket bag round. Overlock and press side seams towards the front of the skirt. Repeat this step for both sides. Add one pin on the centre front point and 2 pins on the centre back point. This will ensure you don't get the front and back skirts mixed up here, as the pattern pieces are very similar. Step 14. Attach the peplum skirt to bodice. Sew 1 row of long length stitches across the top edge of the peplum skirt at 0.5 cm. And another row of long length stitches underneath this at 1 cm. Do this for front and back separately so you have shorter lengths to gather. Leave long threads at either end of the stitching and don't back tack these stitches, as you need the threads loose to gather. Place the skirt inside the bodice, right sides together. Line up the side seams, centre front and centre back points. Pin these 4 points in place. Carefully pull on the loose threads to gather the peplum skirt to fit the bodice and pin in place. There are more gathers on the back than on the front because the front pulls in with the ties. On the front bodice, arrange the gathers so that they are mostly around the middle V section in between the darts. Visually, when the ties are tied, this will give an even distribution of fabric. Front dart seams should be facing towards the centre front bodice and side seams should be facing towards the back bodice. Sew all around, making sure to pivot your fabric where the front V point is on the centre front bodice to get a nice sharp point. Overlock this seam and press upwards towards the bodice. If the long length stitches are visible from the outside, remove these using an unpicker. Step 15. Sew the hem. Press the hem of the peplum skirt up by 1 cm, fold 2.5 cm up again and press. Top stitch all around. Step 16. Add the crystal pocket. Overlock all around the rectangle. Right side up, fold the bottom third up, then fold 1 cm back over and press. Fold the top third over and press. Sew down the sides and turn inside out. Turn the garment inside out, lay front side up. On the left side, in between the side seam and the dart, place the pocket as shown in the video. Pin into the seam allowance of the waistband and sew. And there you have it, your beautiful willow is complete. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me. Don't forget to share your make with the Cinnamon Daisy community. We all love seeing all the different willows out in the world. Thanks so much for sewing with me today, and I'll see you next time.